All right, how's everybody doing? So I hesitate to call this a review simply because there's certain basic information I do not have. I do not know when this lens was made. I do not know how many elements it has. And also, I don't even know who made it. It's branded as Petri. I suspect that Petri probably manufactured this lens, but it could have been outsourced to a third party, and I can't be certain of that. At the time I bought it, I picked it up because I recognized Petri as a budget brand from the 1960s, and I thought that it was consistent with my M42 on a shoestring project, which asks the question, can you put together a quality M42 system nowadays, today, on the secondhand market on a shoestring budget? And I believe the answer is yes. And this lens is, well, sort of part of that answer. In preparation for this video, I tried to find as much information about Petri as I could, and I found very little. And what I know and what I'm telling you now is based upon a handful of websites, blogs, forum posts, Facebook comments, and collector groups. As far as I can tell, the Petri started making cameras at some point in the 1950s, or at least started making and marketing consumer cameras really by the 1950s, if not earlier. They made cameras or at least at some point in the late 50s or early 60s, they made an SLR and M42 mount. And at that time, they did produce a line of lenses, although I believe all of those lenses were preset lenses. This obviously is not a preset lens. It does not have the preset ring. It's got the aperture ring close to the base. And it does not even have an auto manual switch on it. This is well, it's got the pin back here to stop down the lens. So let's see that. Let's see if we can see that. Here we go. And here we go. Yeah. The aperture is a little bit sticky. It's not bad. It's okay. I've shot 5 rolls of film with this lens, and it's functioned properly. Although if you open up the aperture, right now it's at 22. If I open it up, see, it's opening there. Now it's wide open. One stop in, you can see it close down. Another stop in, you can see it close down. Now it doesn't close down any further. So there's so the mechanism's malfunctioning. That is, at f2.8 is wide open, and then when I close it down one stop, you can see the lens close down. But there's no auto manual switch on this lens, so it shouldn't be doing that. One more stop, you can see it close down a bit more. That's at f5.6. And I go past f5.6, it doesn't close down anymore until I use the pin on the back. So it's got some issues there. Although it's still usable, you just sort of have to treat it as a preset lens, even though it's not. So as far as I can tell, Petri did make quite a few products in the 1960s and 1970s. They are well known for their fixed lens rangefinder cameras, which many people really like and have a high opinion of. I think there was a Petri Racer, the Color 35. There was a Petri 7. There was a number of fixed lens rangefinders that this company made, which sold very well and are still available today on the secondhand market. In terms of their lenses, the company switched to a proprietary bayonet mount in the early 60s, maintained that mount, and then switched back to M42 in roundabouts 1974. By that time, the company was having severe financial difficulties. They went into bankruptcy of 77. There was some sort of employee buyout that kept the company, or at least that kept the machines running 2 more years until 79. And then by the end of the decade, the company had folded, or maybe, it might have sold off such that the name still exists, but it was no longer producing anything by the end of the 1970s. So, are the lenses any good? In general, I have no idea. I just can't find any information about these lenses. You can find some information online, or at least I could find some information online about the cameras. Apparently the SLRs were notorious for having reliability problems, and there are very few surviving Petri SLRs today that are in good functioning condition. And they were regarded at the time as a budget brand. Were they in the same class as Ricoh or Cosina or Chinon? Maybe a little below, frankly. If the reliability problems were known at the time, and if they had a reputation for that at the time, and I'm really not sure. I'm just not certain. In terms of the lenses, I suspect this lens was made at some point in the 70s. I'm guessing this is one of the lenses that they made in the mid-70s when they returned to the bayonet, or excuse me, when they ditched their bayonet mount and returned to M42. Because it is not a preset lens. It does not have doesn't even have an auto manual switch on the base of the lens anywhere, like many M42 lenses. So that suggests it's not an early M42 lens, most of which they were either preset, or at least they had the auto manual switch, somewhere along the base. So I'm guessing this is from the 1970s, but again, that's really just a guess on my part. So what does it look like? How are the images? Well, they got character, that's for sure. It's not a great lens, but it's not a terrible lens. That is, again, depending upon what you want to do. This lens has every optical fault you could want. It's got, but it does have really nice bokeh. Wide open, it's got some really cool bokeh, that's for sure. The problem is that it's not sharp at all. Wide open aperture, it's just, there's not a sharp point in the image, not in the dead center, nowhere. It's just, at f2.8, there's just no sharpness to this lens whatsoever. Close it down to f5.6, it's not too bad. f8, f11, it's reasonably sharp, but even so, even by f11 and f8, it's not sharp in the corners. You still have corner softness. You've got some vignetting, certainly wide open and even closed down a bit. But it's got some character, and it's got a vintage look to it, and if that's what you're looking for, then, if you find one of these for a really good price, sure, why not pick it up? I will link down below to my Flickr album containing images shot with this lens. You do not need an account on Flickr to view images. Anybody can click on the link and view the images. I shot 5 rolls of film with this lens, 50-ish photos up on Flickr right as I make this video. So have a look and see for yourself. Apparently these lenses are not terribly common, so in all likelihood, if you've run across one of these and you're looking for information, this may be about the only info you've got. I really don't know. I mean, I've had a really tough time finding information about Petri lenses. Never mind the cameras. So that's pretty much what I know about Petri and their lenses, and my recommendation is, if the price is right, and when I say the price is right, like $20 thereabouts, no more than that. And the reason I say that is simply because it's not sharp wide open. A great lens, a truly great vintage lens, it's going to have the great bokeh, but it will be sufficiently sharp at wide open apertures, at least in the center of the image, to give you a decent picture. But whereas this one, and you can see in the image, I've got a bunch of gratuitous bokeh shots on there at wide open aperture, and you can see how soft it is. So I mean, it's soft. Cool bokeh though, definitely has a cool look to it. So it depends on what you're looking for. That's about all I can tell you about this lens. I wish I had more to say, but I just couldn't find out very much information. So most of the useful information I've got is just going to be contained in the images themselves. So have a look, see for yourself. Links down below. I hope you found this video useful in one way or another, and if so, please do like and subscribe and check out the links down below. Take care now. Bye-bye.